Hey everyone, so I have another quick video about long swords. So you see in some, or not some, but even a lot, not even venture most sort of fantasy / medieval RPGs, long swords as one-handed weapons, and then bastard swords, which are technically the same thing. Just different word, same weapon, but that's another rant for another time. But the bastard sword will be a two-handed weapon that, if you're especially skilled, you can use one-handed. And a lot of people say, no, long swords are a two-handed weapon. You rip them like this, and you hack and slash and do all that jazz. And yes, I agree. It's primarily a two-handed weapon. But I don't think using it one-handed is as far-fetched as it seems. Yes, it's kind of awkward if you do the classic knight, in shining armor grip like that, and try hacking. It's very awkward, and the crossguard likes to catch on your arm. But there is a solution. If you grip your sword this way, which I suspect is done, you even have some swords that'll have like an iron loop around one side of the handguard, which I suspect is to put your finger in like this. So swords that have that guard, I could easily see a grip like this. It doesn't feel awkward to me. If you have a sword just like this, which even though it is blunt down here at the edge, doesn't have that guard, I wouldn't use because you could get your finger chopped. And if you use it this way, it gives you a lot more leverage. And because it's slanted forward, when you pull back, you don't get that contact between you and the handguard. So it's still kind of awkward. It's not as easily used as a sort of two-handed long sword, but I could definitely see this being done. You could possibly use it with a shield. Just because of all the space you need for such a large weapon, I wouldn't use it with a large shield. With a smaller shield or a buckler like this, you can easily maneuver your long sword around and fight with it, and even use your shield a bit. You can punch with it, keep it up and block. So this combination of the long sword and buckler doesn't seem far off. And in another video, which will come out shortly, I suspect you could possibly even use it two-handed with a buckler. Maybe not all the time, but if you want an extra ghastly blow to your enemy, you can grip it two-handed and get a nice two-handed chop in. It's not as maneuverable as straight-up two-handed longsword, but you definitely could. So using it as a one-handed weapon, I wouldn't recommend it exclusively. If you're going for an exclusively one-handed weapon, I would definitely suggest something shorter. But on its own, you could definitely still use it one-handed or one-handed with a shield. The only problem I can see is since it's so much heavier, it's still like using a two-handed weapon where you have a lot of follow-through, but it's not like a two-handed weapon where you can sort of easily break that follow-through by using your offhand. So once you start going, you can't stop it as easily. So if you go to attack and then suddenly, oh no, I need to block or I need to change attack, you can't do it as easily, which means it's a lot harder to do a feint very well. So it's not an overly successful or overly good one-handed weapon, but it could still be used as a one-handed weapon, and even if it wasn't very commonly, writing it off as simply a two-handed weapon doesn't strike me as the truth. People definitely have used this as a one-handed weapon at points. I feel like it couldn't have been that uncommon for the long sword or bastard sword or hand-and-a-half sword or whatever you want to call this type of sword to be used one-handedly. So I guess that's all I have to say. It could be used one-handedly. Look, I'm doing it right now. But so thanks for watching, and please leave a comment.